going to chat for a few minutes here. And what we want to talk about, typically we do it right after lunch to give our food a little time to digest before we start the second session. But today we wanted to play right away while it's still a couple degrees cooler. And then we can talk at the end when it's the hottest part. So, and what the talk is really about, it's for you to answer any questions you guys may have about college soccer, NCAA rules, the recruiting process. It can be specific to Sac State, it could be in general. Any questions you guys have, because it can be an interesting process, and especially over the course of the last year and a half with the pandemic. It's thrown everything into a tizzy a little bit. So we want to kind of open it up for questions. Before we do that, I just want to thank you guys for being here today and working hard, especially this afternoon session. I know it was hot. We tried to, like I said, do short spurts of energy, 10 minutes at a time, and then give you some rest. And I really thought you guys did a good job. The speed of the game stayed pretty high. It was pretty good despite the heat. You guys battling through some cramps and being uncomfortable. That was good to see. And obviously, Matt talked to you about it a little bit before the last set of games there. That it's important. Being mentally strong and mentally tough. Knowing the difference of I'm injured and I can't play, and I can't help the team, as opposed to I'm uncomfortable, but I got to find a way to grind through it so I can help the team win. There's a massive difference between the two. And it's often difficult for young players to find that line. It's something the pros can do. It's something college players have to learn to do. Very, very important. And I thought you guys did a good job today. Okay. So with that being said, we just want to kind of open it up for questions about, again, recruiting, college soccer, etc., etc. Yep. Eligibility, yeah. So obviously international students are a little bit different than U.S. citizen students, and especially like for California, we actually have four different types of students. We have California resident, we have WUI student, meaning Western University Exchange, so states like Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, etc. You can come here and apply for WUI, and you don't have to pay the full out-of-state fee. You get a break on that, being a Western state, basically. Then there's out-of-state, and then there's international. So we have kind of four different types of students, and that would be at any CSU. And I don't know if the UCs have WUI or not, but very similar for state schools in California. Everyone, no matter your status, has to apply for the NCAA Eligibility Center. And they're the group that determines eligibility, NCAA eligibility for every sport, Division 1, 2, and 3, across the board. So you have to go online. You can Google NCAA Eligibility Center, and you have to register. There's a little registration fee. Then you have to send all of your high school transcripts there directly from your high school. Your high school has to send them official transcripts. If you've gone to community college, you need to send those transcripts in as well. And then your SAT or ACT test scores. You have to send all that stuff to the Eligibility Center, and then they're the ones that determine your eligibility. So it's not the individual university, it's the NCAA Eligibility Center that determines. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. our system varies a little bit. And someone else asked me the question earlier, what's your favorite system? And I don't think I have a favorite system. We don't necessarily recruit players to fit our system of play. We try and recruit the best players we can, and then we try and fit the system to what we have. I would say most frequently we play out of a 4-4-2 diamond with a diamond midfield, etc. Sometimes we morph into a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 even. If we're down a goal late in the game, sometimes we play with 4 strikers, 2 in the back, if we're trying to find a way to win. So it changes a little bit. Real games since like November 1st of 2019. So because of the pandemic, like most of us, things got tossed up in the air. Our conference, the Big West Conference, was one of 2 NCAA Division I rankings. So we obviously didn't play last fall, no one did. And then last spring, instead of getting to play a real season, we were allowed to play 4 scrimmage games. So we felt we liked what we saw in 3 of our 4 games. We think we're going to be pretty good this fall. We have kind of a mix that have some good experience, older guys. So it gives us some good experience. So yeah, I would say we're kind of a mix. I wouldn't say we're in transition. I wouldn't say we're super veteran. And I would say we're going into this season. I've been here for 33 years, and it's probably the season that I have the most questions going into it just because we haven't played it so long. So the NCAA allows us to play 20 games in the fall. That includes any kind of preseason scrimmages. Most Division I teams play 2 scrimmages and then 18 games. So that gives you your 20. And then you have your conference playoffs. So those are extra games that don't count against you. And then you have the NCAA tournament, extra games. So you could end up, if you play 2 or 3 conference tournament games and you win the championship and you go all the way to the NCAA final, that could give you an extra like 8 games, 9 games. So you could play almost 30 games in the fall. And then in the springtime, we're allowed to play 5, very minimum of 1 and even 2 extra players this coming year because of the pandemic, because we have 3 super seniors coming back that normally we wouldn't have. He's supposed to give me an answer soon. Normally it's 26 is our maximum. And every university is different. Every university is different. I would say most Division I men, you're looking at closer to 35. So it costs us like 1 3/4 scholarship to give an international a full ride, which is very difficult for us because we only have 7.5. So if you look at our roster, we're mostly California guys. We do get international guy once in a while, out-of-state guy once in a while, Bowie guy once in a while, but certainly financially it has to make sense.
We have a folder that we can show people about what's proper.
Yeah, it's taking the time to write a proper email. I think that's important. Having your parents, counsel, someone look over the email, taking the time to make it specific to the school.